Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good.
Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be doing my June wrap up. I have my Goodreads open on my phone so I know what books I've read and I can remember what stars I gave them, because my memory is atrocious and I can never remember. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm not going to faff about. So the first book I read, which I actually read on the 1st of June, was The Things You See Only Slow Down by Haemin Sunim. I hope I said his name right, and I gave him 4 stars. So this book was like a self-help kind of book, self-care book, you know, and it really sort of helped me slow down. You know, that's the whole point of the book, is just, you know, telling you to take time and just go through things slowly and enjoy things that you do and stuff. So that was a good book to, you know, start off the month of June with. And then I read the Pact by Sharon J. Bolton, which I also gave 4 stars. So this book, if I remember rightly, was about a group of friends who'd gone on a trip, and, you know, some big thing happened, which I don't want to mention because I don't want to spoil it. And then it goes between the past, when they're on that vacation sort of thing, and the event happened, and now, and the mystery of finding things out about what happened then. So that was a really good book. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the suspense and like the building up. Next I read Age of Iron by Angus, which was actually a DNF. I didn't finish the book, and I gave it 1 star because I didn't finish the book. Yeah, I just couldn't get into this book. I can't even really tell you what it's about. Couldn't get into it. The writing was like a child writing without adult language. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, if anybody has read that book, let me know if it is worth rereading, but I couldn't enjoy it. And next I read The Great Gatsby by F.Scott Fitzgerald, which is a classic book. 4 stars. I loved it. I can see why it wasn't popular when it first came out, and why society didn't enjoy the book. I can see, because there's so many taboo topics discussed and mentioned in it. But nowadays is something that is more enjoyable, because these topics are discussed that bit more. I mean, they're not discussed to full extent, but they are discussed that bit more. And it is a good book to discuss some of these topics, you know, and to bring these topics to a light. So yeah, I did enjoy that book. I'm sure everybody knows The Great Gatsby. Even if you've not read the book, I'm sure you have seen the film with Leonardo DiCaprio. I would say I do enjoy the book more, but I am more of a book person than a film person. The only films I absolutely love are Harry Potter, which is obvious. But yeah. The next book I read was Verity by Colleen Hoover, which, of course, 5 stars. 5 stars for Miss Coho. I loved Verity. Oh my god. The suspense, the tension, the twist, just the events that happened in it had me gasping, and it had me just mind blown. Yeah. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about this in my 5-star reads video, but intense. Get the shivers every time I think of it. I then read The Guncle by Stephen Rowley, which I also gave 4 stars. This was such like a good light-hearted read, and it was kind of like the perfect read after Verity as well. So, but yes, that was, you know, it's all about this gay uncle who, something's happened, he now has to look after his niece and nephew for the whole entire summer, and it just shows like his relationship with them and how it builds, and like his growth as a person as well. So I did love that book, and I do recommend it. It is a good summer read as well, but there are some trigger warnings to be aware of, and I mean, for all these books, please do check trigger warnings, because you never know what subject. Sometimes some subjects can just appear and it's a shock. I then read Open Water by Azumah Nelson. I hope I'm saying that right, which I gave 4 stars to. I did enjoy this book. It didn't keep me fully enticed, I would say, like some books can. Like I was hooked into it, but I wouldn't say it was like fully hooking. Like for me, I know like obviously my levels of being hooked in books, you know, everyone's is different. You know, these are just my opinions of books and stuff. But yeah, it's about a relationship between a black male and a black woman in a time where, you know, society loves them but hates them. It's, you know, about their growth as people as well as their relationship and society, you know, and the things that they have to go through. So it is definitely a really good book. I do definitely recommend reading it. If you haven't read it, it's definitely a really good book for Black History Month. And so I do definitely think you should read this book. Then I listened to The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I gave 3 stars, by Stephen Chbosky. I'm really bad at names, sorry if I said that wrong. I wasn't a big fan of this book. There were some points that really weirded me out, if I'm being honest, and it was I don't really know what to say. I haven't watched the film, so I don't know, maybe that would change my mind. I know I'm not a film person, but I don't know, I can't really put into words what I felt about this book. It's I may need to read the physical book. I don't think the audio book really done it for me, but in the way it was, it just seemed so monotone. I couldn't really feel like the difference in emotions and stuff as it was going. So I definitely think I might need to read the book and just have it be a voice in my head saying these things instead of listening to someone else read it. I then read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which I also gave 3 stars to. What do I mean? This book was it was 3.5 stars, not 3.5 stars. It's because I don't have my half ratings on my Goodreads, so I had to look it up again. I did struggle with this book, and I don't really know what to think of this book. It's different. I know it has a lot of love-hate relationships, and I'm a very situation with this book. It's like, so it's about this group of friends, family, you know, that they have every summer they go to this island that they own, have summer there, and this big thing happens, and it goes between the past and the present of what happened and what's going on now, and then there's this big realization sort of twist at the end that the ending did give me some tears, I won't lie. Not like I wasn't full blown crying. It was just like my eyes watered. You know, the chapters are very short. I didn't enjoy how it was written, with the chapters would literally like starting and ending anywhere on the page. It wasn't like chapter finish, start fresh, which did nerve me a little bit. But I think that just might be an OCD thing for me. I don't know. But it's yeah, I just don't know what to think of this book. I then read another book which I gave 1 star to, which I'm not discussing at all, because when I read this book it had a different title to what it actually is, and I wasn't. It's a really, really short book, but I wasn't, no. Then we read a bit of Penelope Douglas, Punk 57. This is actually the first book I've read by Penelope Douglas, and it's a strange one. I struggled to get into it. It's about these two people that have been writing letters to each other for years since they were kids, and then they meet, and you know, it shows what happens and the difference between the relationship between writing to each other and actually meeting in person. It's an odd one. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, 4 stars, and the characters can be quite difficult to relate to and attach to, especially the beginning. You know, they're dickheads at the start. Let's be honest, they're not the best. But as it goes on, you do start to see the deeper meaning into them as people and their deeper personalities, which then you can then start to relate to them a little bit more. Sorry, my fish behind is doing some weird stuff and it's just very distracting. But yeah, I don't know this book. I mean, things did start to fall in place towards the end, but it was good. That's why it was a 4 star. It was good. Like, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't a 5-star read for me. I then listened to Duty of Care by Dr. Dominic Pimenta. I hope I said that right. And I gave that a 3 star. It's a good book to read because it's based on like the NHS throughout the pandemic and what COVID-19 put them through and the changes they had to make and stuff, so it's good in that sense, but it was also felt very, I don't know how to put it into words, it just felt very off as well. It was just very weird. I don't really know what to think of that book. But then we read Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney, which I gave 4 stars to. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed Normal People. I did still enjoy it. It was still an okay book, hence why it's a 4 star. But some of the topics brought up were difficult to read. So trigger warnings, which I know I've mentioned before, but trigger warnings, you know, and for me personally, it was difficult to read. But at the same time as them being difficult, it was interesting to read. Has anybody had that where it's difficult to read something, but it's also very interesting to read it because just to see the perspectives of that situation? That's very much me, and it's very hard. Like I say, I did enjoy it. I just don't really fully know what I think of it as like a whole book. This month's reading was very up and down. I then listened to the Windrush Betrayal. Let me get the rest of this. Exposing the Hostile Environment by Amelia Gentleman, which I gave 4 stars to. This book was really interesting to listen to, you know, into like the history behind the Windrush era and what happened and everything, and all the backstory. And I do like those sort of things, and history was something I did enjoy, so I did like reading about that or listening about that. I then listened to Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, which I think I said right. And again, I didn't give it very many stars. I gave it 3.75 stars. I didn't read the synopsis before reading this book. I don't necessarily like to always read the synopsis before reading books. I wish I did read this one because it would have helped make sense to some of the book. Because I went into it, didn't really understand it to start with. I was very confused what was going on. And I just... topics brought up, yes, good. Showing relationships, how they build, growth in them, all that sort of stuff. But I just couldn't get the book as a whole. It was just a very weird book for me personally to listen to. Whether, again, listening to it wasn't really helping and I need to physically read the book, maybe let me know. But yeah, I don't. Very off of this book. I wasn't. It's quite a loved book, and I just couldn't really get to it. And another book that's quite well loved, but does also have some hate to it, and that's Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, which I also gave 3.75 stars to. Now, this book. Interesting beginning. Lost it somewhere along the way. At that page 100, it just took me forever to read, to pick up. I just didn't want to pick it up. The book was just not intriguing. When you think of the story as a whole, yeah, it's good. It shows society and its assumptions about people and stereotypes. That's the word I'm looking for. Finally got to me. I did obviously want to pursue it and finish reading it because I did hear good things about it, so I was like, oh, maybe if I just keep going I'll get to the good part that I enjoy. Yeah, I just I can see why it does have the big following, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna quickly go through the last 3 books because my battery is gonna die. Then I read Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, 5 stars, absolutely love it. T.J. Klune, round of applause, love his books. He's one of my favourite authors of all time, without a doubt. This book, the way it shows grief and death in such a light-hearted way, it's not so intense, it's just I then read The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Again, 5 stars. Loved it. This book just hit the spot. This was book 100 of the year. This book completed my Goodreads challenge and it ended it on a high. I loved it. It's the way, again, death is discussed in such a light-hearted way in a time where society was very discriminative. You know, you're looking at Nazi Germany, which was a very, very horrible time. But the way it discusses the time and it makes it easy to read, and the way it was written, very interesting, very different, very, very different, very interesting. So yeah. And then my last book of June was The Marriage by K.L Slater, which it ended on a 2-star. I kind of wish I ended my month on The Book Thief and ended it on a high, but I then read The Marriage and it's a 2-star. Kind of ruined the end of the month, and yeah, I didn't enjoy this book. I didn't enjoy it. I read it, but it's just not, no. I didn't enjoy the writing, the topic, and the plot to the story was just weird, and it just felt very going one way, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's do it, put this as the twist, and it just sort of out of nowhere almost, and it was just not enjoyable for me, and I didn't like it, so it was a 2-star. Simple as, really. So yeah, that was my June reads, and I had a very lot of ups and downs this month. I read 19 books this month, which is less than last month, but it's still good. Now please, if you read 1 book or you read 19 books, no matter how many books you read, it is great. You know, everyone's different, everyone's reading speeds are different, everyone's interests are different. Please, these are just my opinions on these books, this is just my thoughts, and this is just how I am as a reader. So yeah, but I mean, let me know in the comments what books you've read this month, which ones you love, which ones you hate. And yeah, I'm gonna still leave my link down below for TubeBuddy. Also gonna have a link down below for Allison courses, which, you know, it's free. You can learn any skills you want, develop any skills, learn new things, anything that interests you guys. So do check it out below. It is really good. And their courses, you know, they take like 3 hours. Some of them, like, they don't. If you're just want to sit down and do it, and you can take your time, you don't have to do it all in one hit. You know, they're really good, informative courses. So I'll leave that link down below, along with all my social medias, all down below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave a rainbow emoji, and I'm saying rainbow because I just looked at a rainbow on my wall. So leave a rainbow emoji, and yeah, keep smiling, be kind, keep reading. Bye guys.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.